Hello everybody and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Mezco 1/12 Collective Hal Jordan Green Lantern, my favorite superhero. Now the front of the collector's tin has very prominently displayed a Green Lantern logo. We get the Mezco 1/12 logo down there at the bottom, along with the DC logo at the bottom, and of course just Green Lantern's name at the top. On the back we do have a product shot of different accessories and the figure itself. And then on the collector's tin here, which it is a tin box, but when we open up the flap here, so we have a little tissue paper protecting it, but then we have Hal Jordan displayed there with some of his accessories. So yeah, enough about that. Let's get this thing open and take a look at Green Lantern. And here is Hal Jordan outside of his packaging. And if I haven't said it before on previous reviews, Green Lantern is my all-time favorite hero, specifically Hal Jordan, but I love the Green Lantern mythos as a whole. So I was super excited when I pre-ordered this back in February of 2019, was it? When the pre-orders came out, and then I had finally gotten them shipped. Actually, about I don't know, it was a little bit ago that I've had them. I'm just now getting around to the review, but oh man, it was worth it. If you do not have a Mezco figure, save up, pick out your favorite character, Marvel, DC, horror, whatever. Pick out your favorite character and get a Mezco figure. These things are well sculpted, well painted. The cloth goods on it really help make that figure just pop that much more. And the articulation on it is like nothing you've never seen if you are like a DC/UC collector or Marvel Legends collector. If you get into some of the higher end premium brands as well, and this wouldn't be your first $80 or $100 figure, then you've seen this articulation before. But if you haven't, get yourself a premium figure, and Mezco is a great place to start. Now, when standing straight up, Hal is coming in at 6 3/8 inches tall, which makes him about 16.2 centimeters. So he does scale pretty decent with Marvel Legends and DC/UC figures if you did want to mix them together. And Hal does come with a ton of accessories that you can display him with, starting with a blast piece that shoots out from his power ring, an energy effect that plugs directly into the wrist, a defensive shield effect, a ring hand with a starburst pattern, a ring hand with this smoldering effect coming from the power ring, a left and right open gesture hand, a left and a right hand used for flying poses, a left hand for holding the power battery and the power battery itself, a pair of fisted hands, which is what he comes with outside of the package, and then finally you do get a little baggie to keep some accessories in, a pair of batteries to use in the power battery, which I'm going to go over the extra features of the power battery in a moment. We get an extra Green Lantern emblem in case the one on his chest gets lost. And then, of course, we do have the stand, which does have a spot for either a foot peg, or you can put in this articulated stand, which I'm not going to spend too much time on. You guys have seen stands before. You get an articulation point here, here, and here. This can rotate at this end right there. And then, of course, you do have the little grippy hands there. And the one thing I did leave out just now is the two different head sculpts, which we're going to look at those in closer detail when we get our up-close shot here on Hal. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the power battery a little bit closer, as we do have the special feature with that power battery, and then we're going to get a better look at Hal. And here is the power battery, just so you can get a little bit better up-close detail on it. And this is the same power battery that we got with John Stewart, so no redesign there, which makes sense. I didn't really anticipate they would redesign it, but I'm still not overly impressed with this particular design. I really wish that it had a more classic look to it, but given that the costumes of both John Stewart and Hal are kind of a modernized look, I'm not surprised that we got something like this. Now, to show off, let me stop the table here and turn the lights down. The other aspect of the power battery is it does have its light up effect. Let me turn off the big studio lights here. All right, so we have the big effect. Now, I actually grabbed John's battery, and I don't remember which one is which, but I'm going to show you something here that if you leave the batteries in this, let's see which one is, that's John's. You can see I had John's batteries in his power battery for some time, and it's definitely impacted. This is just going to be easier for me to hold up the fist. It's impacted its ability to light up brightly versus the new power battery. You can see how much brighter fresh set of batteries is. Now, I've had those batteries just sitting in there maybe, I don't know, it's been a couple months, maybe almost a year, I guess, maybe, but I haven't had it lit up. So even just having the battery in there will drain them. So my recommendation is if you want to mess with the light up feature, do it sparingly and take those batteries out when you're done. But all you have to do is take the fist that comes on the figure when it comes out of the package, and you hold that up to the power battery, and it will light up, and that does look really cool when it lights up. And getting up close here with the first neutral expression head sculpt, we can see some very good detail and paintwork going into the mask and the eyes. You even have some paint. Let's see if I can try to steady it here a little bit. Paint right there around the lips, the hair. Man, all that paint came out looking really good. And this is the kind of details that you're going to see in a premium format figure versus a something like a Marvel Legends. And actually, now I'm looking at it, that mask looks like it's glued on. That's not painted. Well, I mean, there might be paint on it, but that's why it looks so good, is that's a separate piece. I like that, though. It still came out looking good, and the hair has some great sculpted details, and then you have that wash going over it to really help the hair stand out. I like that a lot. And then we swap out for our more aggressive head sculpt here. And we have Hal screaming out with presumably using his power ring, and that looks great too. And the detail of the paintwork there in the mouth, the teeth all came out painted nicely, the tongue, the lips, all that came out painted very, very nicely. So I really like both of these head sculpts. They look really good. Looking down at the body, so of course there's not much to show off with the sculpt work. You have the bodysuit with sort of the vinyl stuff here. And then I mentioned, too, the emblem, because it does come off, so that's why I mentioned if you lose it, it's not hard to take it off. And the paint on the emblem, yeah, that looks really good. That is going to be another difference there between a premium format figure and your standard retail figures. You do get a much better job there. And then we get detail on the arms for the gloves. This part is going to be vinyl, whereas this is going to be the molded plastic. And then I didn't really show off too up close here, looking at the power ring. We have some good sculpted detail on the power ring, and that even goes for, this is the, losing my focus, there we go. For the open hand, you have a good sculpted job there as well. One thing that really bummed me out, though, is most of the previous segments you saw were actually recorded last night, and I started recording again today because I turned him around and I saw that right there, a tear under his right armpit, not even at the seam, just right in the middle. And I went back and I looked at all the footage that I shot there of like when he's going around and I was showing off all the effects. The first shot that I did was the 360 of him standing straight up. I didn't even pose him before that. So this was out of the package, ripped right there. And you can tell like there's no, I don't know, it's a weird looking rip. That really bums me out. You pay $85 for a figure, and the last thing you want is a defect out of the box. So I got this from Entertainment Earth. I've already emailed them about a replacement. They're out of stock, though, so I don't think I'm going to get a replacement. If I can get a refund, Big Bad Toy Store has it in stock. Maybe I'll buy another one of these from Big Bad Toy Store and get a replacement that way. But looking at the rest of the detail, God, that's just bugging me so much. But looking at the rest of the detail, Very cool looking design. I do like the overall costume design. I like the kind of the new 52 collar there. That looks really good. And then the rest of the body, just really cool. I do like it. And the boots came out looking good too. Now for articulation, if this is the first time you've seen Mezco, so you have a head that can do some very good side to side. Of course it can turn around and things like that. Can look up a decent bit and look down a decent bit. The bottom of the neck joint, it's kind of hard to see, but there's just a lot of movement on that head, and I think the bottom neck moved. Is it not moving now? There it goes. It's moving a little bit, so you get a little bit of shift with that. The arms do come up quite a ways. They will warn you with these ones with the vinyl. Be careful as you're moving the joints. You don't want to tear anything like over here. I didn't tear this, though. I want to reiterate, that's not a tear at the seam. This is a relatively stretchy material. So that is something, I don't know what. But again, you do want to be careful when posing him, though. For example, he does have shoulders that would go all the way around, but I'm not going to do that. That would be something that would stress on it. He does have a bicep swivel that would go all the way around, but again, you don't want to stress that. He has double jointed elbows, and then he does have ball joints at the wrist that will allow for up and down motion, or if you rotate the ball joint, it'll allow for side to side motion like that. So you have full flexibility there on the wrist. He does have an ab crunch, or rather a diaphragm joint. I'm not sure what Mezco has underneath, but you have some decent motion there, and then you have some good side to side that way. So I like that. He does have a waist rotation, but again, you have a lot of vinyl here. You're going to want to be careful rotating his waist. You can see some of the stress that is kind of putting on the costume that way. So I'm trying to be cautious with him, trying to reiterate, I did not do that. He has legs that can come apart. Yeah, see, stretching again, but be careful. That's all. That far, can kick forward, meh, back, meh. There is an upper thigh cut, but again, be careful. Double jointed knees. I didn't feel any kind of boot cut or anything there, but you do have a hinge and ankle pivot. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. So overall, like I mentioned, if you have never had a Mezco figure before, I think they are super worth getting into. Just at roughly $85 to $120 for some of the premium ones. It can be very pricey, so it's going to be almost like a supplement to any specific type of collecting. I've been foregoing the McFarlane wave of multiverse figures. I'm not impressed with them. I'm not a fan of the 7-inch scale, so I'm still looking for 6-inch figures with some consistency, and Mezco seems to do a pretty good job. So I think I'm going to continue getting Mezco figures, which, by the way, this is my Emerald Twilight tribute. What do you think? I think it would have been awesome if Mezco would have gotten us with these open gesture hands that we got. I think it would have been super cool if they would have given us the ones with all the different power rings on it, like in Emerald Twilight when Hal starts to go crazy before he becomes Parallax. That would have been really cool. But yeah, anyway, this is the shot, after Coast City blows up and he's shooting into the air. I know he has a broken arm in that scene, but whatever, this is working. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic here. Still a great figure. I'm hoping to hear back soon about that rip. Man, I don't think it's getting any worse. So, worst case scenario, if I'm stuck with this figure, it's at least in a spot that's not that noticeable, so I suppose it can be tolerated, but me just knowing that it's there is going to drive me nuts. So, but that is it for the review. Make sure to hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching my video, and have a great day.